Folks, thanks for joining us today. My name's John Dubas with Premier Marketing, and we'll be spending the next 45 minutes to an hour or so discussing one of the programs we feel can make an impact for you, this AEP, and with its portfolio and support structure, give you an opportunity to really build not only a strong finish to this annual election period, but also give you the opportunity to set up good, strong business throughout the year for you. And it's in conjunction with one of our favorite partners, and that's Medico Insurance Company. And we've asked some folks to come on and help us with today's presentation to give you that information. The presentation itself is being recorded, and the link to that recording and some of the information that we reference through the course of today's presentation will be sent to all who have registered for today's webinar. You'll notice in the software itself, there's a section in there for questions. We ask that you put your questions there. We've muted everyone at this point in time. We find that we answer most of the questions through the course of the presentation, but we will reference that section to make certain that we get you the information you need from today's presentation. We'll start with a little bit of a level set as to who Premier Marketing is. And we're a national marketing organization founded in 1968. That's part of the Integrity marketing platform. We have offices across the country offering insurance programs to the public through independent insurance agents such as yourself. And we do so through contracts that are at the highest possible commission levels with recruiting contracts available to those who qualify. As I mentioned, being founded in 1968, that means we recently celebrated a milestone in our history, our 50th anniversary. And we feel that's quite an accomplishment for what began as a small family agency in rural Nebraska that's grown into one of the largest marketing organizations in its space, particularly in the Medicare and ancillary areas. We do so through a full insurance portfolio that covers the basics for Medicare. The programs include Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement programs and the standalone Part D prescription drug plans. But we also offer a full portfolio of life insurance and annuity products, including final expense and pre-need programs, and also offer long and short-term care programs, disability income plans, and ancillary benefits, including dental, vision, hearing, critical illness, cancer, hospital indemnity, and accident programs. That Medicare Advantage portfolio is very robust. It contains the national leaders in each of the markets and many of the strong regionals there as well. And that same philosophy carries over into the standalone prescription drug plan, where the national leaders are there for you through our organization. You'll note on this slide, we still list the Envision RX program, even though it is pulled from broker distribution by their corporate mentality. And we want to make certain that you realize what's going on with it if you have a contract with them, to make certain that you don't lose out on the changes that are brought about within that program. When we look at the Medicare Supplement portfolio that we offer, you'll see that it is very robust as well, and we have different support systems in place to help you be successful in that space within the Medicare arena as well. When we speak of ancillary products in each of those categories, you have the national leaders that offer those programs, and we are proud that our guests today are among those offering these ancillary products. When we look at the Medicare market overall, we hear of the aging of the baby boomers, the silver tsunami, 10,000 people a day, one every 10 seconds. And if you look at Medicare just based on age, however, you're not getting a true perspective of the market, because even though there is a huge number of people turning 65, not all of them access the benefits immediately when they turn 65. There's a small percentage that don't. So that market isn't truly dictated by age, simply because also about 1/6 to 1/7 of the population is accessing Medicare benefits through medical disability, and those are folks that we can address through a versatile portfolio of products as well, because they have different needs, and we see that the market overall has some challenges that really need our help. 2/3 of the population is 3+ chronic conditions, and so having a variety of products to offer this population can help them address the challenges they have with their health. And you can see on this slide, even though the number is a little dated. It's more around 26.2 now. The income and assets of these folks are challenging as well for them when it comes to paying for the problems they have with their health. And that's why having product that can address those issues and do so in a fashion that makes it easier to budget and to address those debts are very important to us and to our book of business. And we want to make certain that we can help you in that regard. And we do so regardless of the choice that the population takes. They don't have to do anything at all. They don't even have to take the optional Part B if they don't want to. The vast majority, thankfully, do. And some of them will just then pick up a drug program, a PDP program. And so we have products that can help them with the shortfall in their medical. Some of them may pick up a Medicare supplement and a PDP program, but they may have other issues that need to be addressed because many of the things that we face when it comes to taking care of our health aren't always just medically cost-oriented. And that carries over even if a person chooses a Medicare Advantage plan, because there are programs there to help augment that coverage and make certain that we're doing the best we can for our prospects and clients. And we're working in a space that actually seems to speak a different language sometimes. So one of the things you'll see is some of the follow-up that comes to you today is a guide, an acronym guide, a link to it, so you're able to help translate some of those letters as well. I've been in this section of the business for 35 years, and it's amazing how many acronyms still cause pause when it comes to what does that mean. A big part of today's presentation is the fact that we're not only harvesting this year during the annual election period, but we're planning for next year. So we need to give a little bit of perspective as to how we can help with that transition and how we can do it efficiently and effectively as well. So we've asked our friends at Medico to come in and help us with that explanation on how to build your business in AEP and beyond. And we have Augusta Norris with us. Augusta is a sales director with Medico Insurance Company, and she's going to give us some detail as to how Medico operates, the portfolio it has, and the support system that is there. So at this time, I am going to turn control over to Gus and shut up and let her roll. Gus, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, John. Thanks for having us today. Thanks for having me. Like you said, I am with Medico, and I am one of the regional sales distribution managers, which is a really long way to say a sales director. We have like the same goals and everything as what you think of as a normal sales director, just a different title. So we really appreciate having Medico on. We have such a great relationship with Premier that it's always great when we can sit down and be on these types of trainings and really just go through what Medico's portfolio looks like and how that can help you in and out of AEP. We also have some other really exciting things we're going to go over today that Medico is really diving into and growing as a business. And then I'm going to give you some insight on what to look forward to next year as well, because we have some really exciting things coming. So as we go today, if my screen will switch, sometimes my keys stick, so if we just go flying through here, I'll come back to wherever we were, so bear with me. As we go today, if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask them. And I always say questions, comments, concerns, anything like that. Go ahead, put them over there in your questions box. We'll either get to them during the webinar. I know I'll send out a follow-up email when we're done today of all the slides that you get to see. So sometimes I'll stick your questions into those emails as well, so that you have them in writing. You can always reference back to. No matter what, though, we'll get you answered. We'll get you squared away by the end of today. So before we can jump into Medico's products, we have to know why Medico is a company that you should be here for. Why should you work with us? What do we have to offer? And how can we help you, really? That's how we always want to put it. It's not how you help us, it's how we can help you. We're partners here. So we want to really get the most out of that partnership for you and help grow your business. Your success is definitely a priority to us. And we actually have a lot of ways that we show that. And one of the ways is making sure that your input is valued, and all the feedback that we get from agents, it's always going to go into when we start changing products or revamping products, we go back to our input from the agents. And we want to make sure that your voice is heard in that instance. Another way is you have a full team behind you. We make sure that our agents are a priority by having an agent service team behind you, a customer service team, the sales team, so myself and Kelly Rayburn and Melissa Gwinnett and Courtney Mayer, we're all on the sales team. We get to share that responsibility. And then if you ever need to reach out, you also can get into underwriting. Our underwriting is in-house, so if you need to reach them, you have total access to them as well as claims. Those are there for you, and that's not something a lot of companies can say that they can do for you as an agent, but we keep them in-house so that you can always reach out and have that access. You do have a full portfolio of products available to you, and we're going to touch on each one today, but we're not going to do a full dive in. So if you do want to ever have any of those, we have a lot of them that are recorded, but we also have our webinars every Tuesday and Thursday. So if you ever need to just say, hey, you know what, I just need a revamp on first diagnosis cancer, go ahead, jump on that webinar or ask for one of the recordings. Either one's a very good thing to do for you as an agent. I know during AEP that's probably out of the question, but outside of there, you totally can. Also, Medico is an A- rated company. So what that means is we're an excellent rated company from AM Best, and they did just redo that in May 2020, but we were before as well. It just means that we are financially strong and stable, and we're moving forward. And we have so many examples of what's to come in next year, but we're going to hit on some of those at the end of today as well on how we're moving forward and keeping Medico at that A- rating. So let's jump in here. Let's get into some products. Medicare supplement, that's going to be our first one here. We are in the Medicare supplement field, and we have been for quite some time. We've actually been in this field since 1975. Some perks, I always say perks to our MedSup. We have very quick underwriting. We conduct our own PHI calls, and like I said, we're in-house, so we're very competitive also in the marketplace. We're very comfortable where we are in the marketplace. And we also make sure that on a monthly basis, we provide our market intel where Medicare supplement rates are most competitive. So what that means is we do some mapping. So if you have a state, and let's say in Iowa, I'm going to use Iowa because Iowa is my state, and you say, hey, Gus, I just need to know where is Medico most compatible at for me? Where is it most competitive at in Iowa? I can give you down to the zip code, and then we can also give you a map that has that on there. It's very interactive, but we just want to make sure that we're putting the best foot forward and doing that work for you, where we're going to do that research on where are we competitive at and where is your best options for Medico. So there's some pretty great things that we can offer. Now, where we are available in total is all the blue states for MedSup. Now, sometimes we get a little confused. This is just MedSup availability. Each product is going to be available in different states. Some states might have every single product. Some states might only have two. But I'm going to show you all of those today as well if you're just not familiar with Medico. We do have a household discount for our MedSup. That means that we can offer a up to 12%. So it's usually either 7 or 12% if your client lives in the same household as another person over the age of 18. Now, does that mean that that other person has to apply or receive coverage from Medico? No, they do not. Do we want them to? Absolutely, but they don't have to. They just have to live in that household. And if you use the My Enroller, which hopefully you will, and if you don't know what My Enroller is, you will by the end of today, it's just going to ask you for a first and last name on there. You just type that in, and they're going to receive this discount. Now, you see that some of those states, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, they're just a little bit different, and that is they have to have the couples discount, so both people in the household have to receive a product for those ones, and that's just how those states are in general. That's not something that we have control of. All right, so let's jump into dental, vision, and hearing. Now, I know that's really quick for MedSup, but as everybody says, MedSup is MedSup is MedSup. So unless you're looking specifically at a state and rates, it's really pretty easy to sum up in that instance. But again, if you ever need more information, don't forget that we have tons on our side, and we have those recorded webinars too. So let's jump in here, dental, vision, and hearing, and what we have to offer. So our issue ages are 18 to 89. We're guaranteed renewable till age 89, and this is an individual coverage. Now, before I really dive in here to dental, vision, and hearing, I want to let you guys know that you can expect pretty early next year, maybe April or so, beginning of April, I will say, for Medico to come out with something new for dental, vision, and hearing, and it's going to be awesome. I'm talking putting us in line with that #1. Unfortunately, that's about all I can give you. I get to give you like a little teaser to expect something really, really great coming from Medico in the dental world. So if you are familiar with our product, that's great, but just keep looking, keep your eyes out open for something new and exciting too. Now, what we currently have, $100 annual deductible, the services that are covered, varying levels, and let's look at those. So looking at these here, we do have 3 plans. We have just straight dental, and that's really for somebody who regularly visits the dentist. Maybe they just need this for preventive care, routine cleaning. They have healthy teeth, but they're looking to keep them healthy. And maybe they have a major service somewhere else, and they're looking for a backup here. That's where this dental product would go, because it does not include the vision and hearing coverages. With this, you can see what your coverage is, your percentage, and then your waiting periods. Policy year maximum is $1,000. DVH plans, these are our most popular because they do cover the vision and hearing services. You can see the coverages are going to grow over the 3 years, so 60, 70, 80%. No waiting period on basic restorative services, and then no waiting period on eye exams. And I will tell you guys that what we see come in a lot is a lot of clients forget that they have vision and hearing coverage. So make sure that when you're telling them, you're kind of going through those yearly checkups with them, maybe those meetings, you're sitting down, you get some time, just remind them, hey, don't forget you have that vision and hearing coverage on your dental plan. Sometimes people just don't see them as hand in hand. So just make sure they remember those. We don't want them paying for something that they don't use ultimately. And then our Dental Plus. Or back to DVH, I'm sorry. You had 2 policy year maximums on here, $1,000 and $1,500. Policies are going to be the same. It's just whichever one they choose to go with. That usually just depends on their area. So maybe if they're in a major city versus a suburb, that's how you're going to know to differentiate between those policy year maximums. The Dental Plus, this is for somebody who has some major dental concern, or if they're worried about possible implants, because they're going to get money here towards implants. If that's a concern for them, that's something that they talk to you about. You can go ahead and maybe say, hey, this Dental Plus might be more for you, $2,500 a year maximum, and money towards implants. Now, the next question is usually going to be, what's the network look like? Well, vision and hearing coverages don't have a network, but for dental, we actually call ours Freedom of Choice. We are partnered with the Maximum Care Network plus Connection Dental Network. It's one of the largest in the United States, actually. It focuses on neighborhood dentists. But your client does not necessarily have to go to a dentist that is in the network to go ahead and be covered. They would still go ahead and be covered. But if they go to somebody who's in the network, if there are some additional costs, then those would be covered in the network. So still going to have coverages, just depends if there's any additional. Now, if your client is concerned about their dentist being in that network, you can help them find that at the gomedico.com/policyholders. That's the client's website. And then I believe it goes by zip code. It will show them what dentists are in their area. So if theirs is in the area, or maybe they want to go to someone new, either way, they can go ahead and find that. Very easy to go ahead and help them with that. So let's look at a little savings example here. So we have our 3 major medicals, Medicare, Medicare Advantage, PPO, and a Medicare supplement. These are your total out-of-pockets that you're seeing for any kind of dental work that's going to be done. You can see that Medicare and a MedSup is the same. Medicare Advantage PPO is a little bit less. So let's say you partner that with a dental, vision, and hearing plan here. And we said that this is in their 3rd year, so they're at that 80% coverage. It's going to save them about $2,000 here. So with that super low premium, and when I say low premium, for every state around 68 years old, it's about $35 a month. So it is a pretty low premium to go ahead and get some great coverage. And speaking of states, let's go ahead and look at where we're available. We're actually available in 39 states for dental, vision, and hearing plans. So if you have any questions about those, go ahead, put them on over there in your questions box, and we'll get to them shortly, but we're going to go ahead and jump into hospital indemnity. Hospital indemnity is my favorite product, and I believe that it can just completely complement anything in your product portfolio. You can really pair a hospital indemnity with anything out there and really help your client out have that full range of coverage. And I believe that Medico's really is the best on the market. Before we even dive in here, you guys should just know that when you're looking at Medico's premiums for hospital indemnity, you're looking 10 to 20% lower than anybody else in the market, with a few riders and baseline perks that just aren't offered anywhere else. So I really encourage you that if you have not sold a hospital indemnity, to start looking into it a lot more. And I'll let you know before we even get out to the incentive, the fourth quarter incentive is over hospital indemnity. So if nothing else entices you, let the incentive money entice you here. Defining a hospital indemnity, if you're just not completely sure what it is, basically your client goes into the hospital. When they come out, they file that claim, and then they can receive a check paid directly to them. Now, before we even go in here, let's talk about how to file a claim. There are a few different options. What they can do is go out to the agent or the client website and just pull off the claims form, fill them out, send them in, fax them in, whichever. They can do that, or you can help them do that. They could ask the hospital for what's called a UB04, and that is just a form that has all the codes on it that they used and telling them what they did in the hospital. Send that into Medico. They don't even need anything with the claims form. It will tell us everything that we need to know on there. Or some hospitals, Michigan is also my state, so I just happen to know that one of the biggest hospitals in Detroit, they will take their Medico card and they will send all their claims information into Medico for them. So they could ask the hospital when they go in there, because they will get a little card for their hospital indemnity plan. They could ask the hospital to go ahead and send us all of that when they go in. The turnaround rate for payments on the claim, if everything goes according to plan, you're looking about 1 to 2 weeks or so. And when I say everything goes according to plan, basically I mean if the hospital is cooperative and sends in kind of what we need from them. Sometimes they take a little bit longer, but we're going to tell your client everything we're doing. So if we send a letter to the hospital, we're going to send a letter to your client and let them know, hey, we've asked for these things on this date, just so you know, basically. So they'll be kept in the loop. Hospital indemnity, where are we available at? Everywhere that you see in blue here. Again, they get a household discount if they live with someone over the age of 18. This time it is 7%. All right, so let's look at our base plan here. What is included in the base plan for hospital indemnity? First and foremost, the hospital confinement benefit. They're going to start receiving coverage on day one. So as soon as they go into the hospital, they are admitted, they're going to start receiving coverage. They get to pick their dollar amount, $100 to $600. That's going to move in $25 increments. I'll let you know that our most popular that we're seeing is anywhere from $350 to $400. Reason being, the premium's really low, and they're accounting for that hospital inflation rate every year. So they can go ahead, put that money here, and it's a lot more affordable than like a major medical health plan, like a MA or a MedSup, something along those lines. Day amounts, the most popular is 6, because this is normally paired with an MA plan. So they don't start receiving coverage till after 5 days. They can have the first 5 days covered on their hospital indemnity plan. It's a great option just for that. Even if they just go with the base plan, they get those first 5 days paid for. That saves them a ton of money. Observation unit, this should be one of your #1 selling points when it comes to the hospital indemnity, because we're going to pay 100% of the selected amounts. So they choose the 6 days per calendar year, we're going to pay 100% of that with no minimum or maximum hours required per stay. So how does that compare with leading competitors? Let's put it in those terms. Anyone else is going to require some kind of hours in the observation unit to start receiving payment, and that's going to range from 6 hours up to 12 hours, where Medico, if they walk in there and they start receiving treatment, they're going to start receiving payment right then. They're not going to have to pay for that. In the observation unit, it can start to add up very, very quickly. Even 6 hours is still going to be pretty pricey for your client. So why not put them somewhere that they don't even have to worry about that? Emergency room benefit, $150 per day for a maximum of 4 days per calendar year. This is for accident or injury, and then they have to be admitted within 24 hours. So sometimes I get the, well, Gus, why is that there? What if they're not admitted? Okay, Well, let's think statistically here. And I know that sometimes you throw statistics at people and they're like, no, I'm not interested in that. But let's think about it that way. If you we're normally in the senior market, and normally senior market starts at 65. Now, I in no way think that 65 is a senior market. My dad is 62, and I will tell you right now that he is faster than I am. He's probably in better shape than I am. I'm also due with a baby in 2 months, but he's still in better shape than I am. And that man goes 90 to nothing all day. So I do not believe that 65 is senior market. Now, that being said, somebody who's 65 and over that goes to the emergency room, 93% of the time, they're going to be admitted into the hospital just because of simply their age. If they're not, it's a very rare day that they're just said, okay, see you later, go home. Nope, they're going to be held in an observation unit if they're not admitted. So they're still going to stay in this base plan and have some coverage somewhere. Inpatient mental health benefit, $175 per day for a maximum of 7 days per calendar year. Just has to be a certified mental health facility, and a doctor has to send them there. So just because I think my aunt might be losing it a little bit in her older age, I can't send her there and say, good luck, have a great time at the mental health facility. No, a doctor actually has to send them there, and then it will be covered here. And then the last one, transportation and lodging benefit. This is a fantastic benefit, and I always use my parents for this one. My parents come in great for these examples because they live in the middle of nowhere in Missouri. That is where I am from. I love the state, but they live in the boonies. So if they had to go to a big hospital, and if they had to go to the hospital, they would go to this one. They would not go to the one in town, just because they can't do a lot in those small hospitals. But they would have to travel 100 miles to get to the hospital. So they're going the minimum of 50 miles to receive treatment. They would receive $100 per day at a maximum of 10 days per calendar year. Now, that's if they're receiving some kind of treatment there. There's in that hospital or medical facility. So if they had to go to a Mayo clinic for an afternoon and receive chemo treatment or something like that, that would also be covered. It would just be the 1 day in that instance. So this is up to 10 days, so $1,000 just for having to go to the hospital and travel over 50 miles. That's going to help them get reimbursed for that gas money. If they have to stay, if my mom went and my dad had to stay in a hotel, that money would come back to them. If one of the great examples to use, and especially in Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Michigan, where have you, is there's a lot of hunters. Usually you don't hunt in your backyard. My parents own a ton of ground in Missouri, and they have about 600 acres. Somewhere in that 600 acres is going to be pretty far from home. Now, with that being said, let's say that they're hunting and somebody has a heart attack and they have to go to the hospital that's 2 miles away, but they're already 50 miles away from home. They're still going to be covered. It's from the policyholder's address that is on that policy, not from where the accident takes place. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope that you guys can use that to your benefit. It's a great piece of the base plan. Now, along with the base plan is we have the restoration of benefits. So let's say that you have Jane, like we do, and Jane chose a 6-day option. And then she has to go to the hospital for 5 days, and she's discharged. As long as she goes 60 continuous days out of the hospital, healthy, good to go, on her own, no care at all, we're going to set her days back to 6. Now, this is not a one-time restoration. This is going to happen every time she uses that 6-day, any of those days out of the 6 days, and then is off of them for 60 continuous days. Now, I believe it comes out to about 4 to 5 times per year that she could use it for 6 days, out 60, in 60, out 60. So very beneficial for them. And we're going to go over some premiums too, so you're going to see how all of this comes out into a very low premium for your customer. Now, let's start looking at some optional riders. With your optional riders, first and foremost, number one most popular is ambulance service rider. So this is going to include ground or air transportation, and then it's going to have $250 per day up to 4 days per calendar year with a lifetime maximum of $2,500. Average premium, you're looking around $3 or so per month, so very affordable. I highly encourage anybody out there to ride an ambulance rider on a policy. It is the most popular, but it's also the most affordable, and it's the most used. If somebody, think about somebody in your own family, if they go to the hospital, you want them in an ambulance because they're going to start receiving care in the back of that ambulance before they even get to the hospital. If I take them, there is literally nothing I can do for them except put a Band-Aid on it if they're bleeding. That's going to be about as much help as I'm going to be. Outpatient therapy and chiropractic services. So this is our 2-for-1. With this, you have the outpatient therapy portion. That's going to be occupational, speech, or physical therapy. And it's for $50 per day for 15 or 30 days. Now, notice it's or 30 days, not through 30 days. If you can get them to that 30, by all means, put that on their plan, because as we know, most people who go to physical therapy, they're not there for 15 days. And I actually say that with experience because I worked in physical therapy before I came into this job. And if a doctor sent them there, it was a rare time that they were there for just 2 weeks. If they were, that was awesome. But I would say 9 out of 10 are going to be there for the full 30 days. So we definitely want to push them into that 30 if we can. And it's not a big difference in premium. I'm talking like under $2 in premium. And then they get up to 5 days for chiropractic care. That's just going to be like manipulations of the spine, manual adjustments, has to be doctor prescribed. It has to be because of an accident or injury, basically. Not just, I woke up and my back hurts, I'm going to the chiropractor. It's because maybe they got in a car wreck and then they have to start going to the chiropractor. Then it's going to be covered. Outpatient surgery, just think about cataract surgeries here as we talk about this. So usually if they do cataract surgery, if they do one eye, they're going to do the other eye. That's going to be 2 days per year. And those are going to be outpatient surgeries. Just has to be a certified facility, obviously, and then you're going to help them pick their dollar amount per day. What Medico sees most of the time is $500, I believe, for this rider in particular. Skilled nursing facility, this one is going to have 3 amounts that they can choose per day, up to 50 days. They don't have to choose, like, I want 40 days. It's just going to give them up to 50 days. And then there's going to be a one-time restoration of benefits. With this restoration of benefits, they have to be off of care for 180 days. So it's going to be one time after 180 days, then they can start, they can go back and have a full 50 days restored back to them. Now, with the skilled nursing facility, we're seeing this paired a lot more with med subs as well as MAs, and there's a few reasons for that. This benefit is going to have a pretty low premium, like under $9 per month. So what we're seeing is people using this for indirect costs of a skilled nursing facility stay. So let's say that your client goes in, they have to go to a skilled nursing facility, they're hospitalized for 3 days, and then they have to go to a skilled nursing facility, and their MA is going to pick up most of it, or their med stuff is going to pick up most of it. Now, that's only going to be for healthcare costs. Let's think of all the indirect costs. I know if it was me, I have 4 dogs. It's a rare person that's like, oh, I'll come take care of your dogs for free. Luckily, I do have somebody that is like loves my dogs and would do that, but I would need them to do it for a pretty long time. I would need them to walk them and feed them, help take care of them, and then you have to clean the house around them, and then you got to buy food for them. As you can see, it's going to start adding up. And maybe I want them to mow the yard. Maybe I want them to help me pay my bills while I'm in there. Those are indirect costs of a healthcare stay. And somebody's got to pay for that. That's going to be out of pocket otherwise. So if they can pay under $9 per month and Medico gives them, let's say, $150 per day, they can use that money towards those indirect costs. It's a great way to really put it into perspective for your client. And that's what we're seeing it being used at a lot of times. With that, actually, the lump sum cancer benefit rider is doing the same thing for people. Because if they have a med sup, we know that there's cancer protection there, but they have an MA, they're still going to come here. And this one with Medico is only a 2-year look back. So again, when I say that Medico offers something that nobody else can, nobody else in the market can offer a 2-year look back. There's going to be like 5, 8, 10 years, where this is only 2 years into their health history. And then you can help them pick one of their dollar amounts. Our most popular for the rider is $5,000, kind of that middle of the road here. I will tell you, we also have a standalone, and we're going to go over that here in just a minute. But let's say that you have somebody that had cancer 5 years ago, send them here, get a little bit of coverage. They already know how expensive it is. They already know that those indirect costs are going to add up very, very quickly. Urgent care center, This year, this one is extremely popular because of those COVID tests. A lot of times they're at an urgent care center. They can be coded as this and go here, get them their $50 back if they had to pay for a copay. And then you have your lump sum hospital confinement rider. Basically, your client goes into the hospital, and we give them one of these amounts that they have chosen. All right, so let's go to the client scenario. Let's put this into a real perspective here. With this client scenario, we have chosen Anna, and Anna is 68 years old. And she's a grandma. She's a grandmother of 8, and she has an MA plan that pays with a $6,700 out-of-pocket maximum per year. Now, just note that this is before Anna has a hospital indemnity plan. So you as her agent, you haven't gotten to talk to her about a hospital indemnity plan yet. But one day, Anna is at home, and her husband is at work, and one of her grandkids is there, but they can't drive yet. And Anna is vacuuming, and she has a stroke. Now, like I said, her grandkid can't drive yet, but they know to call 911, and an ambulance comes and takes her to the hospital. So you've really already set the scene on what's going to happen here. Now, with this, she's going to spend 5 days in the hospital with a $360 per day. That's going to come out to about $1,800. And then usually when someone has a stroke, they're definitely going to go to the emergency room, but they're also going to have some outpatient therapy. And we said that she had 30 days. It's $75 per day. And where I got that is that's the average for Omaha that we see here. And that's from Medical Claims Department. So that is our average here in Omaha. And then after that, they're going to have to go to a skilled nursing facility. So she's going to have to go there for 32 days. This is not a short stay. This is not a quick recovery when it comes to a stroke. And this is $120 per day. So as you can see on the right-hand side, she's definitely going to hit her out-of-pocket maximum at $6,700 because all of this comes out to about $8,000 and some. But she's going to pay to $6,700. So let's see how we can save her some money. Now we're going to back up, and we're going to say that you got to present her premier agent got to present her with a medical hospital indemnity plan, and you use the customizable PDF over here. And this PDF is available for you. I will send it out if you guys would like. You can use this however you would like. It is awesome because it does all the work for you. It does all the math work for you. And then you can leave it behind with your client if you'd like to. So we're going to say that we're going to build her plan. And I'm going to put this plan out here really quick. And we're going to do $350 per day for 6 days. And she used 5 days, so that comes out to $1,750. Now we know her base plan covers emergency room and transportation and lodging. So she had over 50 miles. So she's there for 5 days, she gets $500. And then for her riders, we said with her current healthcare coverage that there was no ambulance coverage. So we added that rider. There was no skilled nursing coverage. We added that rider. And then we added the outpatient therapy and chiropractic services. So she got pretty lucky to have all of these already on her plan here. We used our worksheet. And with our worksheet, it told us that this would come out to Medico paying her $7,350. Now, as you recall, holy moly, somebody shrunk my text on here. As you recall, her total out-of-pockets were $6,700. So that's what she had to pay. And Medico is going to pay $7,350. That means that Anna's going to take home $650. That's what she's going to net pocket. So how do we do that? We do not coordinate with somebody else. So we are going to pay exactly what you or the hospital send us on the claims. We're going to pay that back to them. We don't coordinate with their MA. We don't coordinate with their MedSup. Even if their MedSup is through Medico and their hospital indemnity is through Medico, we're not going to look at one or the other. We're going by plan here. So she's going to end up net pocketing $650. All that premium she had to pay, that's totally covered now. So let's take a look at that. So here are some of this is a full plan here. And as we look through here, I'm just going to pick out a few that I've kind of touched on here and there. So starting with that inpatient, she's only paying inpatient and observation. That's the base plan. So think of that first line as base plan, under $14. You could stop right there and just have that money available to them, and they're still going to get paid quite a bit of money back. That ambulance rider, $3.20. Let's look at the cancer benefit rider. So $5,000 and $9 per month. That's extremely affordable, especially if you start talking to somebody who says, yeah, I've had a run-in with cancer, or my sister has, my mom has, my neighbor, my coworker. They're going to know, hey, I can afford $9 versus what I'm going to have to afford at a cancer diagnosis. So we added every rider here to Anna's plan, about $55.59. This payout, guys, is $14,400. That is a huge payout for your clients. If something were to happen like the stroke that Anna had, they're going to receive a very large payout and be able to have some of that coverage and just, I would say, it's just some peace of mind. I mean, I know if it were me, that would be a very big struggle. I'm thinking, holy moly, I'm gonna have to spend thousands and thousands upon thousands in the hospital. Let somebody else do that work and let the hospital indemnity plan work for them. So like I said, use your worksheet. You can do this during AEP. Make sure you put it on your scope of appointment, though. Don't just start bringing up random conversations and not account for them anywhere. You can do this out of AEP as well, have this conversation, use the worksheet, leave it behind for them if you need to. Just know that this is how you're really going to come up with a solution for them. Now, we talked about the plan. You're going to want to know about underwriting, 9 health questions. These are knockout questions, and then it's going to give you a time frame, so past 12 months or 24 months. This is all on your My Enroller. Use your My Enroller. I cannot stress that enough for a hospital indemnity because you're going to want those day and dollar amounts. You don't want to remember all those word for word. Let the My Enroller do it for you. There's also a 6-month pre-existing condition limitation and then a 2-year contestability period. This is a very short application. There's no phone interview, there's no medical exam, and no prescription drug screen. Okay, so if you have questions about hospital indemnity, now's your time to ask them. I'm going to go into first diagnosis cancer here and what Medico's portfolio really looks like. Now, we've been providing first diagnosis cancer insurance since 1980s. That's a long time, and we're very confident in our plan. Actually, our plan this year has just went through the roof, and it makes me very happy that agents are talking about it more. I unfortunately think that the C word for COVID really triggered us out of the other C word that nobody wants to talk about, and that's cancer. Nobody wants to talk about it, but I really believe that they kind of went hand in hand this year. And people said, hey, you know, I'm really healthy and I got sick from COVID. Well, you know what? I can also get sick from cancer, and it might be, I said might be, a lot worse than what could happen with COVID. So let's look at some costs here. Now, there are direct costs and there's indirect costs to a cancer diagnosis. And then these are the direct costs. And this might kind of blow your mind because it did to me, but this is only 40% of the total costs that go into a cancer diagnosis. 40%. We're not even hitting halfway yet of the money that's going to be spent. But this is what's going to be covered by MAs or med subs. And this is kind of old, so these have probably went up by now. And that source down there at the bottom is where these numbers are from. So for your surgery, your radiation, your chemotherapy, we're ranging anywhere from $13,000 over $100,000. So what's the other 60%? Those are going to be those indirect costs. So I kind of touched on these earlier with the hospital indemnity plan, but this also presents to you a very good opportunity to cross-sell. So we're talking about growing that book of business, and we want to talk about retention rates here. And the more products you can get into a household, the better retention rate you're going to have. Actually, if you can get 2 products in a household, you have about a 56% chance to keep that client for over 5 years. If you can get 3 products, you have a 92% chance to keep that client for over 5 years. So if you have an MA product and you get to the hospital indemnity plan and you say, you know what, let's talk about a cancer plan as well. You hit 3 products, you have such a high chance of keeping that client for their lifetime and maybe their spouses, and then they're going to tell their kids and their neighbors and their coworkers. And as we know, word of mouth is the best kind of marketing. So indirect costs, that expenses for gas and parking fees, treatments for therapy, travel, meals, and lodging. That sounds pretty familiar, right? With the travel and lodging benefit of a hospital indemnity plan, that can help with these indirect costs. And then you're going to have income loss due to working loss. So I know that no one wants to think about it, but let's think about putting you in your client's shoes. As an agent, you work for commissions, right? You have to work so hard for everything that you earn. If you had a cancer diagnosis tomorrow and next week you couldn't go back to work during AEP too, maybe we just think this year during AEP, you're going to lose out on a lot of income. You have to have something to offset that. And that's where these ancillary plans come into play. That's another great reason to cross-sell, to get more money paid back to your client. Let one of them work with the other. These will partner great. If your client wants to do experimental treatments, this can help with that. Special nutritional supplements. I always say that I say I would right now. Now, if it happened to me, maybe I would think differently. If I had a cancer diagnosis, I would really try to go with a nutritional supplement. I would try that first to see what's going to happen. Before I got pregnant, I worked out every day. I still do, but I was big into nutritional supplements because I believe that they help your body. And I would believe that with a cancer diagnosis, maybe that would help too. So I would probably go to that route. But those are expensive. They're very expensive. And I can't imagine what that kind of would be. So maybe the caregiving or home care. There's lots of reasons that go into an indirect cost. But let's look at Medico's plan here. And ours is going to have 4 lump sums, so $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, or $25,000. There are only 3 questions on an application. And what's one of the best pieces of this? It is there are no taxes, tax-free. So we're not going to take any taxes out of this. Your client files a claim, we're going to pay them $10,000, $20,000, maybe even $25,000. Issue ages 18 to 79. There's a 10-year look back with this one. So usually this is somebody who has no history of cancer. With it being that 10-year look back, that's a pretty long ways to look back into that health history. And then you have a 10% couples discount. So it's both people in the household that get a plan, and it is they're going to both get a 10% couples discount. So let's say that the husband, you have a married couple, the husband gets a plan in 2018, and now this year the wife wants to get a plan. If she gets approved, and they will both get a 10% couples discount. So even though he's had his already in force for 2 years, that's okay. We're still going to give him a discount. Again, no coordination of benefits. What does that mean for you? They can have our plan and maybe another company's plan. Or they could, if they have it in their budget, have a hospital indemnity plan with a cancer rider and a standalone plan if they want to. They can have both, but they can't have 2 first diagnosed with cancer. So they couldn't have 2 at $25,000 trying to get to $50,000. Unfortunately, we can't do that. And these are very affordable rates. Now, available at every state you see in blue here. That's where we're going to be able to sell this cancer plan at. 31 states, actually. All right, so moving away from products, how does Medico make doing business easier? Hopefully I still have your attention. Hopefully you're learning something here. I'm going to get into some more things, more exciting things. Agent services, I kind of mentioned them at the beginning. Use agent services to your benefits, guys. They're going to be able to help you with almost anything. I call them the in-person version of our agent website. Whatever you can find on the agent website, agent services can do for you as well. This is their phone number. Make sure you hit the option 3. And then our agent website, this is how you're going to get to it. This is the URL that you would use to get out there. If you've never went out there before, you do have to register. You'll need your agent number. If you need that, either send an email over to me, call agent services, have John ask us. Either way, we can get it to you in just a couple minutes. And it's very easy. Go ahead and sign up. This is where you will download your My Enroller as well as your quick quote. So what is a quick quote? You can quote any of Medico's plans, all states. You don't have to sign in. That's why it's so fast. You can save it as an icon on your smartphone, bookmark it in your browser, whatever you want to do. You can do it really fast, under 2 minutes or so to get your client a number. Maybe they say, hey, yeah, I'd like that product, but I just don't have time right now. What can I expect as a rate? You can send that. You can do it really quick on your phone, give them a number, let them be on their way, and think about it. Now, the My Enroller. About 76% of all of our applications, actually, I believe it's higher now. With COVID and everything, I believe we're close to 90%, quite honestly, of all of our applications are coming in through My Enroller. Mainly because you have multiple signature options. You can do e-signatures that are in person or not in person. You can also do a voice authorization over the phone. Just have to be able to conference call you in with your client on your side. They can be on a house phone, but you'll probably need to be on an office or cell phone with that. You can use this on desktop computers, laptop, tablets. It's quoting and app processing. It works with or without internet connection. This is your best option to write a policy. Also, if you're going to use a credit card, if your client's going to use a credit card, you have to use My Enroller. We cannot take it on paper anymore. Okay, so one of the new exciting things that we have going on here, over in Iowa. So if you are an Iowa agent, one, I would love to talk to you because I am your state representative, and I love the state of Iowa. But 2, we have silver sneakers over there. We just introduced this year in July, I believe. So if you're not familiar with it, that's okay, because actually they reached out to all existing Medicare supplement clients because it's free for them. So new and existing, this is free. And they've all been reached out to. They know that they have it. They've been told how to get to their client number. And I will tell you guys, all they did was tell them they had it. I've had some people are like, whoa, why they reached out to my clients? They just said, hey, you know what? You have silver sneakers now. This is how you get to your client number. It was no additional cost to you. That's it. Nothing else. More than 17,000 locations nationwide. There's classes for all fitness levels, and they can use this on their phone. They have digital resources. We have tons of flyers. I know this is kind of a short and sweet kind of going over this. We have tons of flyers. If you would like some, I would be happy to send them out to you. But new and existing clients for MedSup in the state of Iowa, this is completely free for them. So maybe that is a selling point for you over there. That is one way you can either grow your business in Iowa or get new business in Iowa. Either way. Along with new and exciting things, we this year started a relationship with AARP. Now, what that means is this is a product that has been through AARP consumer test panels, third-party actuarial analysis, all that good stuff, and Medico can offer it. What we can do is AARP membership is required at application. You can be a new or existing member, and they'll sign up as a new member as well. Now, what Medico is doing is, to put this short and sweet, is we're taking a small group of agents and we're reintroducing our AARP short-term care insurance into the market with Medico. We believe that putting the AARP name on it will bring a great opportunity. With that, there are some business rules around it, and it's kind of one of those things where you have to be nominated almost as, hey, this client is awesome in long-term care and short-term care. I think they'd be great for this. And we want to know that you're really interested in it. Because we're starting with a small group of agents this year, and then next year we're going to grow it. So we're just going to continue to grow this pool of agents until it's completely back into the distribution. Even if you're certified already through AARP, you have to go back through that certification process. That is not something that's coming from Medico. That comes from AARP themselves. That is something that they have told us. This is a great opportunity, though, to reach back out to that client base, strengthen those current relationships with that AARP brand. But we believe that this is a really good opportunity for all Medico agents. It's just depending on if you are big into that short-term and long-term care insurance world. So 2 great options that Medico has right now. We talked about the dental product coming next year, and I'm telling you right now, guys, that next year we're going to run our incentive programs like we did this year, and they're going to change every quarter. Just a sneak peek that they're changing every quarter with products that is also changing and updating every quarter. So when it comes out, it's not going to be the same old, same old. You're going to have something new, exciting, awesome to talk about, which is going to help you earn so much incentive money next year. Right now, you also have a good chance to earn a lot of incentive money. Like I said, our 4th quarter bonus program is going along with Hospital Indemnity Plan, and it runs October 1st through December 31st. So we are a little over halfway through, I think. I believe so. It is November 12th. So yeah, I believe we are. Here's how it works. There are 3 tiers. You have to have 10 applications that are submitted and approved to qualify. Now, you can see how the tiers work here and how you can grow in your money. This is paid out after your policies are on the books for 45 days. So if you hit that 10 policies, let's say you wrote 10 policies yesterday, you were just busy bee and you hit 10 policies yesterday, those 10 have to be on the books for 45 days and then you will receive your payment. Now, just a couple of reminders here. As you go through, just note that Medico does pay incentive and commission still kind of on that normal basis, that normal calendar as we went throughout the year. Just because we're an AEP, that does not change. So if you're writing a lot of MA, it's a great time to start pairing with Hospital Indemnity to make sure you get to stay on pace with those commissions and that incentive money while you wait on that MA money for January. Now, thank you so much for having me on, guys. I always appreciate any time that we get to be on such a great partners webinars like Premier, especially. I haven't got to be in a little bit since I am not the Nebraska territory person anymore. So it was great to be on here and talk to you, and hopefully we learned something today. If you have any questions, just please let me know.
Great, Gus. I appreciate it. One of the things that pops up a lot is, since we are into AEP and we've got a mix of agents that write different base medical coverages, one of the things that they look for sometimes are products they bring on quickly. And there's a question as to, do we need any additional certification to offer some of these ancillary products that are offered by Medico?
Absolutely not. You just have to have the Medico contract. That's it. So as long as you're a Medico contracted agent, you can sell anything except the AARP. That's it. Otherwise, it's fair game all year round.
And the contracting process with Medico, what is the general turnaround time if a contract goes in clean? How quickly can they start selling?
I would say it's just a couple days, as long as there's no like vector charges, or depending on those backgrounds, sometimes are a little bit different for different states. But otherwise, if it's clean and you know that you don't have anything on your background, it's probably just gonna be a couple days.
Awesome, great.
If
well,
that,
that's pretty much.
I think it could be shorter.
Awesome, good. It gives us an opportunity to take advantage of the next few weeks and set up a revisit for folks we've already seen, or set up appointments down the road. So thank you for coming on and giving us that tutorial. We're going to close out today's presentation really quickly with just some additional support that you get from us here at Premier Marketing as well. We have a system set in place to help with electronic contracting in certain circumstances, like now with Medical. We're going to want to make certain that we do some things direct to get some things through very quickly. This system does allow you to set up an agent profile and contract with multiple carriers all electronically. It makes it much smoother and much more efficient. We do also offer discounted errors and omissions coverage to qualified agents. What makes you a qualified agent? Well, you got a contract with us. What this is, however, is the program that you actually own. So it covers you regardless of whom you're contracting through for different products. As an independent agent, you probably have additional marketing organizations that you're working with different products. This makes certain that you satisfy the requirement that most insurance companies have for having this protection. And obviously you want it in play for yourself anyway to make certain that you protect yourself. We also help with keeping your license up to date with continuing education bundles that are available at a discount through our relationship with WebCE, and give you an opportunity to have a modified guarantee issued DI policy on yourself through a program where you share in the commission. So you're adding to your own benefit package as well. Much as where today's presentation is being recorded and will be available as soon as it uploads, and it will be sent to you once again as a reminder. Past presentations that we have for different carriers and different marketing techniques are available for you 24/7 on our website at premiersmi.com or on our YouTube channel. There's a couple of different pieces in there that could be helpful for you very much now. We're working with providers is germane to today's topic, where it gives you some ideas on how to work with dentists to offer the DVH program through Medico, and some of the things that are available there to help you deal with the folks that are actually delivering on the care that are part and parcel to the programs that you're selling. We do also offer a neat portfolio of electronic tools, including one, the CSG tool, that gives you an opportunity to cross-sell. So if you walk into a house, you go through their base medical, they've got an MA program with a particular carrier. It allows you to, and they want to keep it, good for them. This gives you an opportunity to go in and select Medico's hospital indemnity program to fill in the gaps in that coverage by using this program. We've got a little video tutorial for that will come as part of the follow-up to today's presentation as well. And in addition to that program, our Medicare Center program does give you the opportunity to do things electronically for MA and PDP as well. And like the CSG tool, allows you to collect that scope of appointment electronically and store it for the 10-year period that's required by the government. This program, Medicare Center, also gives you a CRM for you to use to track your business and work through things as well. So it's a great way of making certain that all the electronic components are there for you to work efficiently and effectively, and in light of the new normal now, remotely as well. Gus mentioned the different incentives that Medico offers and how they rotate through. We have a place on our website that gives you the opportunity to make certain that you're not missing out on any of that additional compensation. And those programs also help you qualify for the Premier programs, which in the past has been a convention, but now it's morphing into more of a here's some cash, because we don't know sometimes if we're going to be able to do trips. Like this past year, we weren't able to. How are things going to be this coming year? This gives you information on how production with our partners like Medico gives you an opportunity to earn not only additional funds from the carrier, but from our organization as well. We will help you set in front of folks as well. There's a contact list that's available to you at low or no cost, butted up against Do Not Call. Obviously, you can't cold call for MA or PDP, but you sure can for MedSup or DVH or Hospital Indemnity or any of the other programs that are part of Medico's portfolio. And as I mentioned before in the recording portion of some of the past webinars, we have different programs that can help you when you market through retail. If you're one of those individuals that's sitting in a Walmart or one of the other carrier-based programs, keep in mind health-based programs can be helpful for you in that initiative, and it gives you the opportunity to set up additional appointments by offering programs that you can discuss in their home. It also gives you those approaches for the centers of influence, such as faith-based organizations, and once again, the providers that are delivering the care for the programs that you're selling. During this time of year, there are different carriers that will offer generated prospects as well. These are generally MA or PDP programs that you've worked with in the past, but they give you also an entree into households to offer that additional dental coverage or that hospital indemnity coverage or those cancer plans. We do also offer internet lead programs and direct mail support. Our direct mail support is based on production. It deeply discounts the cost of regular mailings for you, so you have an opportunity to use this proven staple as part of an ongoing marketing effort. Keep in mind, direct mail is kind of like an exercise program. You do it once, you kind of feel a little bit of the pain. You might get a little bit of something out of it, but if you do it regularly, that's where you're going to see it really pay off, and that consistency throughout the year can really put you in front of folks to offer that full portfolio of plans. We do offer these programs through preferred lead vendors, hard for me to say, but we do that in order to make certain that the correspondence going out is appropriate and compliant. We want to make certain that we protect you as well. This program is actually one that gives you an opportunity not to go in and fund an entire mail campaign on your own, which has a little longer turnaround time, which may or not be as appropriate now for AEP business, but it gives you the opportunity to take advantage of some of the responses and track them effectively and make certain that you're in front of as many people as possible. This is the second sort of program of that same type where you're looking at mailer responses as opposed to funding the entire mail campaign. We've had pretty good success with both programs, so that's something that if you are in the waning moments of I've worked my book of business, some of my other parts of my marketing plan, how can I augment them going forward? These are great alternatives, as are the Facebook leads for the MedSup and final expense programs that are offered. All this said and done, we're doing this because we want your business. We want to work with you as an independent agent. We want to work with you in Medico hand in hand because we feel they offer a strong portfolio of products and great support on the back end, and that's terribly important for us all. We want to make certain that we work effectively and efficiently, and medical systems really help us do that. So all said and done, as you've gone through some of the digestion of the information that we sent to you or spoken of today, we want to make certain that it becomes part of your marketing plan and that you commit to follow up and through it. And where we are right now, as John Wayne said in the Cowboys, we're burning a bit of daylight. We want to make certain that we maximize AEP, but also the efforts we're doing now will set us up for ongoing business throughout the year. And that's important because, yeah, December 7th, some people will take a little bit of a hard draw in on December 8th. We got to make certain that we're set and ready to go throughout the year, and this can really help. All that said and done, let's check for questions. Is the hospital indemnity plan used once and then it's done? Gus, I think you addressed this, but would you visit that again on the reset on the hospital indemnity?
Yeah, of course. So the base plan has a restoration of benefits. So if they're off of care for 60 days, everything is reset on the base plan. The riders have specifics with theirs, so maybe it's up to 4 times per calendar year, or the outpatient surgery is 2 times per calendar year. The skilled nursing has a 180-day restoration of benefits, but the base plan itself, they just have to be off care for 60 days, then they can use it again. And if they use it for their second time for 3 days, and then they're off care for 60 days, they have it a third time. It just keeps restoring back to them.
Awesome. I think that directly addresses that. And that's the only thing that's popped up here lately. You can reach any of us here at Premier at 1-800-365-8208. If you're working with a marketer there already, they'll direct you right to that person. If you're new to the organization or you haven't worked with Medico or Premier in the past, we'll get somebody there to help you with the specifics and get it underway and effective for you. You can also get information about us at our website at premiersmi.com. You will be receiving follow-up from us via email regarding today's presentation. That will come to you very shortly. But in closing, I'd like to thank you for the investment of your time with us here today. We realize that's your most precious asset, and you're spending it and investing it with us, and we appreciate that a great deal. I'd also like to thank Gus for coming on and helping us, and congratulate her on the impending birth of the new one coming in a couple of months. Congrats on that, Gus. And until we're able to visit with everybody again, we wish you good selling. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.